Considering the wide range of conversations and criticisms that have transpired when it comes to key college issues like loan forgiveness, tuition, political correctness, and even the validity of a college degree, there's no doubt that the lives of students have been under a microscope for quite a long time. So it should come as no surprise that today we are going to be discussing a crisis that college students in the US have been facing for quite a while: housing and food insecurity. If you do a simple Google search, you will find dozens of articles related to this topic, and they are filled with testimonies from students and graduates speaking on their struggles. You'll also come across a ton of commentary related to bills being initiated to combat this crisis, how universities are supporting students, but not really. And now living in the pandemic, you will see a lot of articles about students who were displaced early in 2020. When I interviewed my good friend Clarissa for This Is What I Heard, I learned that she had dealt with housing and food insecurity since she was a child, and this struggle bled into her adulthood. With this interview, I learned that even though we were completely different people from different backgrounds, we shared a commonality in housing insecurity while in college. This realization encouraged me to gather some more information about the effects that housing and food insecurity has on students. The first question I had about this problem is, when did students start facing housing insecurity? Of course, there is not exactly a start date for this, but rather a problem that has evolved over the last 20 years. The average tuition and fees at private national universities have jumped 144%. Out-of-state tuition and fees at national universities have risen 165%. In-state tuition and fees at public national universities have grown the most, increasing 212%. To put this into perspective, the annual cost of tuition from 1980 to 2000 saw a 72% price increase. The first level of Maslow's pyramid of human needs encompasses securing physiological requirements for food, water, shelter, clothing, and sleep. Yet present-day college students have had to adapt to affording college costs in different ways. The most common thing students are doing is living out of their cars. Kaishana Johnson lived in her car while pursuing her associate's degree from Citrus College in 2016. She recalls it being a traumatic experience. It affected my grades a lot. It affected my mental health and my emotional stability. I was having different doubts about my future. Through a community organization, Johnson was able to find housing, and in return, her grades soared because her basic needs were being met. Residential insecurity often forces students to prioritize meeting basic needs over educational engagement. When students consistently live on the brink of a residential crisis, it takes an emotional toll. However, stories that emerge from studies demonstrate how important students feel post-secondary education is. Students are able to clearly connect their long-term stability to completing community college and transferring to a four-year institution. Yet at times, the residential situations negatively impact their ability to persist. They tend to experience multifaceted and enduring trauma. The chaos of residential insecurity results in constantly living at the brink of a crisis. The collection of housing disparities told by students illustrate the need for integrated services at college, which can effectively support students experiencing homelessness and other housing disparities. For past, present, and future students, keep on sharing your story. And remember, success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts the most.